Good morning, Rabbi.
Morning, Joe.
As you know, there are a lot of holidays associated around Easter. Ash Wednesday, Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and Holy Thursday, which many people say was a Passover Seder. What do you think about that?
I'll give you a yes and a no, and it gives me something to talk about. I've been looking at YouTubes and I've been reading some articles about that subject. Was the Last Supper a Passover Seder? And what I learned from everything I'm looking at and reading is that none of the writers or anyone presenting on YouTube is interested in spirituality, is interested in freedom, is interested in the concept or ideas. Everyone wants to prove that they're right and the other people are wrong. It turns into a polemic. So I'm going to present the scientific, archaeological, linguistic evidence that demonstrates that the Last Supper could not possibly have been a Passover Seder. Now, I'm going to present archaeologically, linguistically, and in other ways that the Last Supper was a Passover Seder. And so we end up in this polemic, and we end up in a ping pong match. A metaphor came to mind of a chess game. Now, we're familiar with chess. It's played on a board that looks a lot like a board you play checkers on. In fact, I think it's an identical board, but I'm not sure. I don't play either one. In any case, picture playing chess with someone. However, there's an infinite number of pieces. Every time you lose your queen, you get another queen. When you take away their rook, they get another rook. And so this is what it reminds me of with it was, it wasn't, it wasn't. And all we're doing is focusing on the pieces endlessly, a waste of time and energy. Let's focus on the board instead. Ooh, the board. The board is really neutral. The game is played on the board, but nobody owns it. Nobody gets to take it home. The pieces move back and forth. So rather than focusing on it was, it wasn't, it was, it wasn't, let's be the board for a moment. Okay. The Passover Seder observes and celebrates freedom. It emphasizes that it's wrong to enslave other people physically, mentally, emotionally. It celebrates an historic event, the leaving of Egypt for the promised land, if you will, through drinking wine, through eating foods, through dipping, through certain ceremonies. We recall the Exodus from Egypt, and we're reminded that it's not just about fulfilling ritual. We are to live the teachings. Okay? So how would that possibly be a problem for Jesus? The disciples gathered and they had a meal. And at the Passover Seder, we wash our hands. Feet washing was the custom of the time. So given that the washing had a meaning of cleanliness, so we don't argue over it? No. Then we're talking about breaking bread at the Last Supper. It's Passover, so it would have been unleavened bread. Drinking wine. Wine was very much a part of the custom of the Jewish traditions that Jesus knew so well. And so it would only make sense that they would drink wine. There were questions, there were teaching. And so if we focus on what the Seder celebrates, we can say that it was the Last Supper because it was an observance of the Passover. And there may have been some different themes going on. There may have been some different symbolism, but to turn it into my infinite game of chess is really a waste of time. Let's focus on the board, on the Seder. And what are we learning? We learn to celebrate. We learn to share. We learn the pain of those who are living on the street. Let's think of the Seder as the chessboard. It's neutral. It's an opportunity to present the teachings. And we want to talk later about the scientific study, the archaeological study, and how it affects our religious beliefs. What we want to be careful, we want to guard ourselves not to use the evidence to discredit someone else, to pick on someone else, or to start a fight, or to show that my religion's superior to yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Rabbi. That was great. My only question is, can we have macaroons now?
We can, but then we have to have an afikomen. We want to leave the Seder with the taste of unleavened bread in our mouths so that we can feel for all of those that are denied freedom. Thank you.